Space provide positive behaviour support training with emphasis on preventing or reducing physical interventions in challenging environments.
What makes space training unique is that we focus on staff rather than service users. The way that staff conduct themselves, their attitudes, their approach, and getting them to think about, well, what am I like when I'm in difficult situations? How do I respond? And really, we want people to think about this, and we want them to modify their responses to conflict. So what people need when there is conflict and disorder and chaos is they need somebody calm and composed to sort out the situation for them.
When I came across the space training model, if you like, it really resonated with me from the point of view of getting me to think about how I can influence a situation. From a training perspective, it's about getting that message across to individuals that we've got a lot of influence and we need to utilise that influence in a positive but also a person-centred way.
I felt strongly about challenging behaviour in the way that people were treated. I felt strongly about what staff were expected to deal with very little training. And so I evolved a training system really over a period of years that was about staff looking at themselves, trying to develop self-awareness with people so that they realise the impact that they have on different environments.
We find the training really easy to understand. It's delivered in a clear way. You don't focus on individual clients, it's all about looking at ourselves, and because we're looking at ourselves, everyone engages with it, so everyone takes something away from it. I think that the subject is so engaging because you're looking at yourself that it's far easier than perhaps delivering health and safety training or manual handling, somewhat more interesting.
I really enjoy teaching the space method. It's not just about people improving their abilities and their skills and their knowledge base within work, which is obviously important and a high priority for my role. It's also about people developing themselves, so it has that relevance in work and outside of work as well. It's just lovely to be able to see, first of all, obviously the benefits for the people supported, but also how empowering that is for staff as well. They suddenly feel part of the process of support planning.
The training's quite easy to remember. There's nothing complex. It's very simplistic. And it works. It's the most important thing. It's a fresh approach. It's different from what people historically have been taught. It gets people thinking. It puts responsibility on the learners as well. We don't need to go hands-on. It's not the first port of call. I don't think people get into care to physically restrain people. I think people get into care to make a difference, and this course does that. It gives you the tools to make a real positive difference to people.
The way I hope it benefits staff is that I give them a lot to think about human behaviour, not just other people's behaviour, but their behaviour. Part of the course is for staff to realise that most people have difficulty expressing powerful emotions, and hopefully that helps in their understanding and developing insights into other people's behaviour. So it's about people understanding their own behaviour in order to work with other people.
From the point of view of space training, we are receptive to the individual needs of the people that we work for, the people who commission us. I think we're creative, but we also work in a cooperative way from the point of view of tailoring the training to meet the individual needs of that particular service.
Space training are really responsive to our needs. The whole way we got in touch with them was we had a particular need, something we were struggling to articulate to the staff team, and it felt, to be honest, that the course was built exactly around our needs. It fitted our needs perfectly, and they certainly made us feel that it was a bespoke product. And that said, there were some particular issues that some service users presented, and Space were willing to adapt and show us a couple of bespoke techniques, so couldn't really ask for any more.
We've developed fantastic relationships, working relationships with individuals, and with organisations where they're receptive to our suggestions, but equally we take on board the particular issues or needs that they have.
We actually encourage people to plan for predictable incidents of challenging behaviour, because I believe that most of it is predictable. We've managed over a period of years to reduce the amount of physical interventions with most of our customers, and it's been a significant reduction as well. That means that people in services are not being restrained, which is a great thing. We want to be looking after people and supporting them and encouraging them to be more independent, not wrestling with them every day.
The best result from an effective technique is the non-application of actual physical interventions, avoiding that at all costs. We brought Stephen Brendan in to help us spread the word that actually we want to try and work proactively and avoid using any hands-on techniques.
I'd say my idea of the best result from an effective technique is a technique that you've never had to use, certainly when it comes to physical intervention.
What can you do before getting to that point where you need to get hands-on? And that's the key for me.
I think it was maybe 8 to 9 years ago that I was first trained in the space model, and it was like a breath of fresh air, because for me the techniques are safer, more ethical, easier to learn, so therefore more practical, but the quality certainly comes from the theory, because it's not just about this is how we stop someone from doing this. It's about that proactive approach, that understanding about why the person's maybe becoming unsettled, that understanding about where that behaviour comes from, that understanding about ourselves and our role within supporting people with those behavioural needs, and that understanding about how we can actually practically prevent these issues from happening in the future.
I love teaching the space training system. Like I said, compared to what I was taught when I first came into care, it's leagues above.
The ideal outcome for service users is that there's an improvement in the quality of their life, the environment that they live in is improved, and at the risk of sounding corny, that they're happy and contented with their lives.
There's something for everyone. Visual, audio, kinesthetic learners, it ticks every box. And whatever resonates with you better, there's something for everybody.
I have recommended Spaces services to other local providers. Yeah, I will continue to recommend their services without doubt.